Biblical Wealth Builders. Today, we're reading Matthew chapter 6, verse 19 to 21. Read along with me. Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Thank God for his word. I'm going to encourage you to read the entire chapter of Matthew 6. It's so good. Sermon on the Mount. It's like beyond good. So much. Anyways. But right before Jesus is speaking here, right before Jesus talks about where your treasure should be, he also talks about not fasting, not doing things to be seen by human beings, which is a temptation, right? We want people to see us looking good, going to church. Social media, we want people to even see what food we're eating. Oh my God, this is so good. You got to see this. We want people to see where we're going on vacation. We want to be seen. That is so human and it's a beautiful thing. But Jesus cautions us to not do spiritual things to be seen. Don't fast and pray. Don't announce it so that people can see that you're fasting and praying. I'm fasting today. Yeah. Yeah, you guys go on and eat. I'm fasting. Unnecessary. Let that be between you and God. That's enough on that part. In regards to the treasure, we work. We want to make money. We want to provide for our families. We even want to leave a legacy for our children and our grandchildren. And those are all beautiful things. But it's very interesting because God promises us food and clothing. He promises to feed you and to clothe you. All the other stuff that we want, it's not bad, but it should not get in the way of us being purposeful and focused on using our lives here on earth to build up treasures, not here on earth, but in heaven for eternity. And too many Christians don't understand end times, don't understand revelations, have not read through Isaiah or Daniel, and have not connected the New Testament with the prophecies of the old to understand that sincerely, when Jesus talks about money here and wealth here on earth, he is tying it to eternal riches. The money is to give you a framework and an understanding of how spiritual things work, because you understand money here on earth, like we literally need it for everything. So too in heaven. What you're doing here on earth also matters for eternity, but not your career, not how you're making money, except that your character is lined up with God's character, that you're doing it in an honest way, that you're serving and loving. But whether you are a carpenter or a shepherd, that part doesn't matter so much in eternity. God may give you the same job in eternity. We're going to be building cities in eternity. We're going to be living in houses and we're going to have servants. I'm working here on earth, so I have a crown, so I have servants. I don't want to be the servant. I want to be a master in heaven for eternity. Not in heaven, but I want to be a master for eternity. When I say not in heaven, is because we're coming back here on earth. It'll be a new earth. But this concept of laying up your treasure, what is the treasure? Are you collecting money so your bank account is full, but your eternal bank account of souls won is empty? How many people have you shared the good news of Jesus with last month? Your bank account may show that you made $10,000 last month, $20,000 last month, $50,000 last month. Did you even witness God's faithfulness in your life to 5 people? Did you share God's love? Did you tell them how much He loves them? Did you train your children to read the Bible, to pray, to ask God for His direction in their lives? Did your children see you worshiping? Did you serve at your church, at a charity, with an organization to care for the needy? How much came into your eternal bank account last month? That's the treasure that Jesus says you should be laying up. We are called to be witnesses. You have witnessed something in your life. You have witnessed God coming through for you in one way or another. You have witnessed Him providing for your family. You've witnessed the hand of God. A witness sees, but a witness also shares and testifies. Don't stop at witnessing God's goodness in your life and hoarding those riches. That's not good. The Bible says that's wicked. A servant who does that, who takes the master's blessing, talent, and simply keeps it to himself and does not multiply it, is wicked and unprofitable. Take that treasure that God has given you, multiply it by spreading it, sharing it with many others. Tell everybody. I had the benefit a couple weeks ago of testifying, sharing my witness to a group of students at our church, Saddleback Student Ministries. And it was beautiful. They asked me to speak on provision. Where in my life did God provide for me? And I'm going to use this as an opportunity to share that testimony with you. It was about 9 years ago. 9 years ago in January, this was 2017. In January 2017, I was on a medical leave because just a few weeks before I'd had surgery on my foot. And I was working at this company, outside sales rep. And it required me to travel, a lot of driving. And I was on a medical leave for several weeks. And in the middle of the medical leave, actually still in the early weeks of the medical leave, I'm not supposed to be driving, in a boot and crutches, right? And single mom. I think we were just 3 years into purchasing my first property by myself, being responsible for a mortgage for the first time by myself. My son, I believe, was about 6 or 7 years old at the time. And working for a company, had been there at the time 4 years, which should have been stable, large company, national, global company anyways. And I'm on medical leave. My foot is Literally, I'm spending my day on a couch with my foot raised up. Okay. Um, and I get a phone call from my boss who shouldn't be contacting me because I'm on medical leave, but contacted me and basically said, "Hey, need to schedule a call with you. Um, HR and I will be on a call." And anyone in corporate America knows that if there's a phone call, a webinar, virtual call with HR, it could only mean one thing. Got on a call. Long story short, this might have been the ninth layoff that the company was experiencing in the last few years, in the few years preceding. And they had determined that our entire department nationally would be laid off, including me. And I'm on a medical leave. And I have a mortgage and I've got a son. I'm the only sole breadwinner. But in that situation, in that moment, I knew God was in control. But at the same time, I felt the pressure of me being in control and having to do something. So I started interviewing for jobs and I traveled with my foot. I still legitimately needed another 6 to 8 weeks of not being so mobile, right? For it to heal properly. But I need to get a new job. And so I started interviewing, flew to Texas for an interview. They basically said, yes, when do you want to start? But I didn't want to start, which was not, I didn't want to move to Texas. The job wasn't in Texas, but the company was in Texas. And it wasn't a right fit for me. Oh, God, am I this desperate? Had another job interview in Boston. That was not a right fit for me. I'm like, okay, God, am I desperate? Am I going to say yes to these people just so I can put food on the table for my son? Um, and my foot hurts. And then I got a phone call and it was from a colleague same company. We got laid off together. And she said, why aren't you here? Where are you? Why aren't you here? And I said, what are you talking about? Here where? It turns out that all of them, minus me, had gotten, I think there was like 16 of us. No, that's not true. There might have been 24 of us, something like that, 20 something of us. All of them had received an email communication and an invitation to interview for a new company that was hiring and starting their own department of what it is that we did. All of them had gotten this invitation and all of them were in Texas at this new company being interviewed because the new company was going to determine which of the 20 something they were going to keep. All of them had gotten that invitation except me. Said, oh, this is interesting. I didn't get an invitation. She's like, that's not right. You of all people, like you were stellar. Our company, like it's not right. Long story short, she spoke to the VP who was responsible for the new hiring. And he called me personally and apologized, like, your name was not on the list. I don't know why your former boss left your name off that list. But yes, we absolutely want to interview you. And so I got my own separate invite, smaller group interviewed. It was a yes, and it was a good fit. The Holy Spirit said yes. And not only that, but everything that was arranged, our medical severance and everything was to end on April 1st, 2017. The company hired us to start on a certain day so that our medical and everything would kick in before it ended with the severance. Everything lined up just right. Not only did God work out the details behind the scenes in a company I had not heard of at the time, in a way I could not have predicted, the salary, the pay shouldn't say salary, but the pay was more. The um the experience fit my skill set. And even in the time of the severance, God provided. So literally my son and I lost nothing. It was as if there was $0 lost, $0 that had to be taken out at all. We missed out on nothing. Started the new job, and that new job within a year, I was promoted into management. That is my testimony of God's goodness, how he saw me, single mom, mortgage responsibilities on my shoulder, a child that he couldn't, he's 6 or 7 years old. What's he going to do? And yet God did something behind the scenes I could not have done on my own. I didn't know. And even when somebody was not looking out for me, even when someone accidentally left my name off a list, God still somehow made sure that I was seen, that I was considered, that I had an opportunity to pull up a chair at the table and be interviewed. God did that for me. That's my testimony, one of many, many testimonies of God's provision for me. You have a testimony. Witness it. Share it so that you are taking God's blessing, not hoarding it, but instead multiplying it so that others can see how good God is and they can say, yes, that is the treasure that should be in your spiritual bank account. That's the one that lasts for eternity.